pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to this regularly scheduled meeting of Bowling Green City Council. We're really pleased you're all here this evening. I note the Superintendent Scrucci is with us this evening. Thanks, sir. This is the first week of school, if I'm not mistaken. I'd like to take this opportunity to wish you, all the staff and students, all the best for a very successful year. Thank you. Okay, would you please call the roll?
Osbacher.
Here.
Harold.
Here.
Hollenbach.
Here.
Jeffers.
Here.
Robinette.
Here.
Roland.
Here.
Zanfordino.
Here.
The minutes from the meeting that was held on August 5th, 2019 were presented to council prior to this meeting. Are there any corrections or additions to these minutes? Seeing none, is there a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. The minutes are approved as presented. Okay, is there correspondence this evening?
Yes. I received an email from the East Side Neighborhood Association, and I believe you all did as well, regarding the occupancy ordinance, and that will be entered into.
Thank you, Kay. I am unaware that we have any special recognitions this evening. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor? Very good. Let's proceed then to lobby visitation. Kay, has anyone registered for lobby visit?
Joe DeMar.
Mr. DeMar.
Hello, Joe DeMar, 517 South Main Street, Bowling Green, Ohio. Very brief comments. I know today we're going to be voting on the plastic bag ban ordinance, third reading, and I sincerely hope it passes. And I just wanted to point out that we environmentalists have been talking about global warming for something like 40 years, and now people have finally come around and pretty much everyone realizes it's a problem now. The plastics problem, no one realized the scope and the severity of it until fairly recently. And so it's very encouraging that communities are coming forward, and hopefully Bowling Green will be amongst them to do something about the plastics problem so quickly. And I just wanted to share with the council that recent research has shown that these microplastics that I've talked about before are actually being caught up in the water cycle now. They're being evaporated, carried up into the clouds, and they're coming down in remote areas on glaciers and on mountaintops. And so that plastic bag you see caught in a tree that's being frayed by the wind, those little pieces of that bag can be going literally anywhere on the planet. So I'm glad that Bowling Green is reacting so quickly to this problem. Thank you.
Thank you, Joe.
That's all.
Very good. Let's proceed then to the introduction of new legislation.
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I have two ordinances from the Planning, Zoning, and Economic Development Committee. One, an ordinance amending the zoning district map of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio for the properties generally known as 1019 Morning Dove Lane and 936 Robinwood Lane from S1 planned residential to R2 single-family residential zoning, and an ordinance amending and adopting section 150.55 of the codified ordinances of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding off-street parking. In both cases, I would like to recommend that we schedule for public hearing both at 6:30 p.m. on October 7th.
Very good. Thank you, Kay. On the
Yeah,
calendar.
that's good.
Great. Thank you.
Mr. President,
Mr. Jeffers.
from the Finance Committee, I have a resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. A resolution authorizing an application and a contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation for congestion mitigation and air quality funds for the improvement of the intersection of Dunbridge Road and Woodbridge Boulevard. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the city of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2019 and ending December 31, 2019. Ordinance levying a $5 motor vehicle license tax as authorized by Section 4504.173 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Thank you, Bruce.
Mr. President,
Mr. Zanfordino.
from the Transportation and Safety Committee, we have an ordinance authorizing the sale or disposal of former transit service vehicles by the municipal administrator as no longer necessary for municipal purposes.
Thank you, John. Moving to our official reports, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much, Mr. President, members of council, and all assembled. Just a quick couple of things. First, Mr. President, I'd like to join with you in wishing our friends in the Bowling Green School System, Superintendent Scrucci and Board President Jenny Stewart and their colleagues on the board, and all the very, very best for this academic year. It was great fun, Francis and Jenny, to join with you on Friday to be with all the teachers and others. And now this Wednesday, I think any number of us will be joining with you early in the morning to wish the kids all the very best as they start off on the new academic year. Needless to say, this last weekend was a very, very busy weekend for all of us. With Firefly Night, that seemed to come off once again in remarkably good fashion. I had fun talking with Katie Thompson on Friday night, and some of the others. Just a great turnout there from all reports. At least I don't think Chief Hetrick and Chief Mormon are deceiving me in any way, but they keep telling me, confirm my reports, that all basically went well at the 53rd Annual National Tractor Pull. And maybe it was a little bumpy downtown, but we won't go into those details, right, Chief? Okay. But the tractor pull, and now we have the big weekend ahead, as we just mentioned, about the schools, and opening on Wednesday, and move-in day at BGSU, and the closing down of Mercer, and then there's the soccer challenge for next weekend. These things all have a way of converging, don't they? They're coming together. And it's going to be interesting because Mercer will be shut down, right? Yeah. Well, fingers and toes crossed, right? With all those soccer players coming in and all the students and everyone else and so forth there. And then on Friday, and the President Osbacher, we really look forward to having you join with us. We'll walk the neighborhoods, Rose. I'm not sure just exactly our routes because things have changed a little bit on East Worcester Street there. So we'll probably work our way down more of the side streets there and leading in between Clough and Worcester there. So we're looking forward to it. In any event, this will be 8th year of doing this. Each year is always full of surprises, interesting experiences. I'm not up to drinking beer at 1:30 in the afternoon, though, so. or whatever the time is. Okay. Yeah, always interesting receptions there when we do go from door to door. So with that, I'm going to conclude my report, and unless you have some questions that you might wish to ask me, I'll try my best to answer.
Are there questions for Mayor Edwards? Very good. Thank you, sir.
You're welcome, and thank you all.
Municipal Administrator, Ms. Treader.
Just a very brief report this evening with some supplemental information about what the mayor shared. The move-in for BGSU is on Thursday, and that's when Mercer Road will be closed. It will be back open for the weekend, but they do use that for directions around BGSU, and that's gone very smoothly in the last few years. But everything will be open for the weekend as the soccer challenge moves into town, and other BGSU students are heading back into town. As always, it's my annual reminder to you to please be patient. We have a lot of visitors in town. We have a lot of new people in town. They're moving, they're finding things, and if we all just extend a little bit of patience, take a deep breath, I think things go a little bit more smoothly with the increase in traffic. And that completes my report, subject to your questions.
Other questions for Lori? Very good. Thank
Thanks.
you. Planning Director, Ms. Saylor, is not with us this evening. Parks and Recreation Director, Ms. Otley.
Very quickly, just a couple items. With the start of school, as everyone has mentioned, and parents are excited for that. Can only speak for myself. That means that the pool will not be open during the week. So the pool is open today. It's open right now, and it will be open tomorrow. And then Wednesday, when Bowling Green City Schools start, we will not be open during the week, but we do still have 2 more weekends left. So it'll be open through Labor Day, through that Monday. So I want to remind everybody about that. So please get out and use the pool for the last waning times. And just a friendly little reminder, and I guess an ask for help. If you are out in the parks and you see someone with a dog off leash, feel free to tell them that that dog must be on a leash. If you do not feel comfortable doing that, find a staff person, or Chief Hetrick will attest to this, you may call the police as well. You can be cited for that. That is not just a park policy. It is a ordinance in the city of Bowling Green, actually everywhere your pet must be on a leash. But typically that's what we see is dogs off leash. And this is really in the parks for the protection of the dog itself, anyone else in the park, and so on and so forth. So we get a lot of people, oh, my dog is very well trained. That might be, but there may be another dog that's not, or something like a deer comes out or a squirrel or whatever. You just don't know. So, and again, that is for all animals, but typically what we see is dogs. However, we did see a pig once in Winter Garden. So as part of a wedding ceremony, I don't know what that was all about, but I can't make this up. Someday I'll write a book. So, yeah, if you can just help us with that, that would be great. And that is all I have, unless you have questions of me.
Other questions for Kristen? Thank you. City Attorney, Mr. Marsh. Questions for Mr. Marsh? Thank you. Utilities Director, Mr. O'Connell.
Just to get a brief update for power outages on Sunday. We had a lot of lightning. A big storm came through late afternoon. So we'd have several outages throughout the city, mostly on the west side, I believe. Again, lightning hitting transformers or blowing fuses, some tree limbs taking down power lines, those kind of things is what we typically experience with those kind of storms. But they did get power restored within 3 to 4 hours, a little bit longer than we typically respond to, but we did have several locations around that they had to go to. But everybody got back into power that day, and all was well after the repairs. That's all I have for you. If you have questions.
Questions for Brian? Great, thanks, Brian. We appreciate the response from the crews, too.
Thank you.
Public Works Director, Mr. Kraft.
Well, we're nearing the end of some construction projects. The roundabout project, reminder that Thursday night and Friday night overnight, ODOT and Miller Brothers will be out paving the overpass area for the final course of asphalt. And that starts from 7 p.m. lasting till 6 a.m. each of those mornings, Thursday night and Friday night. Downtown, the concrete base is being repaired on Main Street, and by the end of the week, we suspect we'll be putting some tack back down on the other half of Main Street and paving early next week, probably Monday, if all goes well, weather permitting. What that will allow is striping of the temporary striping of all of Main Street, both north and south. That would include center lane and lane lines. We will not restripe parking stalls since this is just the intermediate course. And what that will allow to happen is the reopening of all lanes, including parking. And then as the contractor works from that point up to the festival, we're going to try and button up some of those sidewalk areas prior to the festival. Where he is not working, parking will remain. Where he is working, we'll just take parking off of that section to get that work done and then move to the next section. So that's the plan of attack for the next several weeks leading up to the festival. Our sidewalk crews, we've been working all summer on 50/50s. We finally poured the last 50/50 sidewalk today. And we're working with the Water and Sewer Department. Soon we'll be working to put some new curbs on East Evers and a little bit of curbs on Frazee Avenue. And then we're shifting into getting ready for the festivals and fall sort of things like brush pickup and everything like that. So that's where we are on our projects and a little bit at Public Works, and that's my report. Do you have any questions of me?
Questions for Brian?
Quick question, Brian, why you're stopping now with the 50/50? Have we spent all the money we allotted for that, or?
Well, I tried to take as many people as we could, and knowing we had some other things, we worked at Wooster Green for a little bit, and we knew we probably would work with utilities. And I wanted to save a month of crack sealing this year since we haven't done it the last couple of years. And at best, I can see where we may have 2 weeks to get that done. We want to hit North Main and Poe Road. The best time to do that is while the weather's still warm. Unfortunately, we missed our window of opportunity for less traffic. But with all the work we have going on, we're going to try and squeeze that in probably after the festival, but before we go to the next brush collection. So.
Very good. Thank you, Brian.
Thank you.
Good progress on everything. That concludes our official reports. Do we have any council committee reports this evening? I would like to schedule a committee of the whole meeting, if I could, for September 3rd at 6 p.m. And the purpose of this meeting will be to allow Ms. Treader and the administration to provide an update on progress in creating the Sustainability Committee that we had discussed in previous meetings. Ms. Treader had requested that we bring council together to allow her to provide this update. I'm assuming progress is being made, and we'll be looking forward to hearing what we have in the works. So September 3rd at 6 p.m. Thank you. Any additional committee reports? Okay, would you lead us through the reading of legislation, please?
Legislation for first reading. Resolution number 3739 for first reading. Resolution accepting the amounts and rates as determined by the Budget Commission and authorizing the necessary tax levies and certifying them to the county auditor. Resolution number 3740 for first reading. Resolution authorizing an application and a contract with the Ohio Department of Transportation for congestion mitigation and air quality funds for the improvement of the intersection of Dunbridge Road and Woodbridge Boulevard. Ordinance number 8790 for first reading. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2019 and ending December 31, 2019.
Mr. President,
Mr. Jeffers.
I move that we suspend the rules and give ordinance 8790 its second and third readings.
Second?
Moved and seconded. Kay, would you please call the roll?
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Jeffers?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Roland?
Yes.
Zanfordino?
Yes.
Osbacher?
Yes. Motion passes. The rules are suspended for ordinance 8790.
Ordinance number 8790 for second and third reading. Ordinance providing supplemental appropriations for the current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio during the fiscal year beginning January 1, 2019 and ending December 31, 2019.
Mr. President,
Mr. Jeffers.
I move that we adopt ordinance 8790.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion?
This is for the zoning review.
Thank you, Bruce. Kay, would you please call the roll?
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
Jeffers?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Roland?
Yes.
Zanfordino?
Yes.
Osbacher?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Motion passes. Ordinance 8790 is adopted.
Ordinance number 8791 for first reading. Ordinance levying of $5 motor vehicle license tax as authorized by Section 4504.173 of the Ohio Revised Code.
Mr. President,
Ordinance,
is it 4504 or 4503?
I have 4504, but I will double check it.
Okay.
And if we need to change it, I'll change
Yeah, I'd
it.
hate to have to go through this whole thing
Right.
again.
I will double check that again.
Okay.
Thank
Thanks.
you.
Sorry about that. Ordinance number 8792 for first reading. Ordinance amending the zoning district map of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio for the properties generally known as 1019 Morning Dove Lane, and 936 Robinwood Lane from S1 planned residential to R2 single-family residential zoning. Ordinance number 8793 for first reading, ordinance amending and adopting Section 150.55 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding off-street parking. And as Councilmember Robinette noted earlier, we'll have public hearings on both of those ordinances September the 3rd at 6:30.
Thank you.
Ordinance number October the 7th,
Yes.
right?
Yes, October 7th.
Yes. Ordinance number 8794 for first reading, ordinance authorizing the sale or disposal of former transit service vehicles by the municipal administrator as no longer necessary for municipal purposes. Legislation for second reading. Resolution number 3738 for second reading, resolution amending and adopting changes to the procurement manual for BG Transit. Ordinance number 8787 for second reading, ordinance certifying unpaid cost of weed mowing to the county auditor for placement on the tax duplicate. Ordinance number 8788 for second reading, ordinance amending and adopting Section 33.08 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio regarding police division composition. Ordinance number 8789 for second reading, ordinance authorizing the Utilities Director to request proposals and enter into a contract or contracts for a battery energy storage system. Legislation for third reading. Ordinance number 8785 for third reading. Ordinance creating and adopting Chapter 121 of the codified ordinances of the City of Bowling Green, Ohio, prohibiting single-use carry-out thin plastic bags and amending Section 35.70 regarding city fees and fees charged for services.
Mr. President,
Mr. Jeffers.
I am going to move that we table this motion, and for one reason, and I appreciate Joe's comments, and I believe plastic pollution is a serious issue. But we are in a position where we're expecting the state of Ohio to make some kind of decision on whether they want to try to preempt our home rule ability to make this decision. So, so that's all I'll say. And my understanding is that we cannot really debate the tabling motion. You don't have to vote for it, but that's my one reason for moving that we table ordinance 8785.
Second.
The motion has been moved and seconded. As Bruce mentioned, it is a non-debatable motion. So, Kay, would you please call the roll?
Jeffers?
Yes.
Robinette?
Yes.
Roland?
No.
Zanfordino?
No.
Osbacher?
Yes.
Harold?
Yes.
Hollenbaugh?
Yes.
The motion passes. Ordinance 8785 is tabled. That completes the items on our agenda this evening. Is there any other business to come before City Council?
Mr. President,
Mr. Robinette.
I'd like to throw out an idea for thought, for maybe some brainstorming over the next few meetings. But as we look at all the good things that we're trying to do downtown on top of the construction and ways to help businesses, I got to think there's something we can do in terms of promotion or trying to find a way to encourage, consumers to get back downtown, not only now, but as the construction project wraps up. So I just challenge all of us to maybe put on our thinking caps a little bit and brainstorm some ideas on some things we might be able to do as a council to help energize, the revitalization of the downtown shopping especially once the pavement's complete. I'm not sure what all those things are. I'm sure we can come up with something, but I'd just like to throw that out there for an ongoing discussion over the next few weeks and months as that wraps up. Whether it's publicizing a celebration of reopening of Main Street or, again, I don't know. I'd like all of us to put our collective brain power together and see what we can do to help energize the reopening of Main Street when it is open. The second thing I'd like to bring up is I took time this last week and I read that calibration table example you gave from Reynoldsburg. And two things struck me. One, it was a well-written document, and my initial thought was if that kind of analysis were applied to our code and our planning documents, I can't see how that wouldn't be anything but a wonderful help. I was very impressed by the structure of the document, by the analysis, and I can only hope that if they applied that same kind of analysis to our project. So I encourage, if you all haven't had a chance to read that yet, I don't know if we've only had our hands on it for a week, but please do, because I do think that is a product that would benefit us, and I'm going to continue to promote it, suggest that we invest in it. So, thank you.
Very good, Greg. Thank you very much. Is there any other business to come before council? Seeing none, is there a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed, same sign. Motion passes. We are adjourned. Thank you, everyone.